One of the problems with a Texas changing the rules of the game is that suddenly you are in a place where the pitcher gets to call the strike zone on every strike. My name is Ann Banaszak. I'm professor of political science at Penn State University, and I served on 2 state commissions. One was the Pennsylvania Redistricting Advisory Council, and the second was the Pennsylvania Redistricting Reform Commission. Redistricting is the act of creating the districts that our congresspeople or our state legislatures represent. So each state has a certain number of districts, and in order to figure out a fair way of representation, we have to divide the state along certain lines. Generally, in the United States, we redistrict every 10 years after the census. So what happens after the census is we have a set number of members of the House of Representatives. You have to figure out how many people get represented, so the number goes up over time. And we also have changes in where people live. People move to different states. So some states are losing population, like Iowa. On the other hand, places like Texas and California are gaining people. The most important factor when you redistrict is really to think about equal population, and that's also one of the more difficult ones. We also worry about how compact the districts are and whether they follow political boundaries. So generally people live in counties and cities, and one kind of principle is that you don't want to break those cities and counties up because they also deserve representation. Gerrymandering is a way of redistricting in the process where you're thinking only about partisan advantage. That's the definition of gerrymandering. So what is going on in Texas follows that definition because the president, Governor Abbott, have been very clear that they're doing redistricting for partisan advantage. There are 2 ways that people gerrymander. Cracking is taking a group of people who support one party or the other and breaking it into multiple districts. Packing is the other way that people gerrymander. And in packing, we stuff a district with all the people from the same party so that it's easier to win the other districts. So we put all the Republicans in one district, and that allows Democrats then to win more. We often think of gerrymandering as creating odd-shaped districts, and that's how we know it, right? If there's a weird district like Donald Duck kicking Goofy, then we think, oh, that must be gerrymandered. But actually, in today's technology, you can very easily gerrymander without districts looking strange. So it is possible to draw millions of maps, and if you can break down at the district level, moving one precinct one way or the other, you can create districts that don't look odd, but are still very gerrymandered. That has a bad effect on democracy as a whole. If people start to feel like the rules of the game are no longer set. It has a bad effect on citizens and not just on the political process.